Hey folks, I thought we'd do some more on the Scottish Gaelic Tattoo Handbook app today. So let me show you where we left off last time. We had these 4 tabs along the bottom. And we had gotten this far. There is one thing that I want to note, which is that previously when we were looking at it, this search bar was running off of the edge of the simulator. I reran the simulator and it worked. I didn't change anything. So, and we had looked at the constraints and determined that they looked right. So I'm actually not that surprised by that. I think just maybe something hadn't taken by the time we'd run it last time. But anyway, we've got some more work that we're going to do today. So here is the mock-up. And what I'm going to do is put this over here. And then let's see how this is going to work. Put this here. And then, I mean, it's not ideal, but it'll work. Alright, so let's take a look at what we might do today. So first of all, this is this screen. We need to move this stack view down, potentially. But first we can look at, so we have browse here, and then we have blog posts, and it looks like there's always going to be 3 of them. So we'll start with browse. Now one thing that confuses me a little is that we have browse here, and then we also have browse here. But let's go ahead and start adding those items. So we want browse, we want a label. Alright, so I'm going to zoom in on this right here. First of all, this stack view. What constraints are associated with the stack view? This stack view is that thing. And we know that it needs to be a little lower. And so there are a couple ways we can do this. There's kind of a hacky way that I can use. And the reason that I'm thinking about doing that is because the centering trick just generalizes to different types of screens a lot nicer sometimes than some of the more manual constraints do. So this is actually what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a label. I'm going to put my cursor in here, Command-Shift-O, no, Command-Shift-L, get a label. And stick it in my stack view. And it's going to take it a second. I'm going to have it of nothing. And the stack view, if I'm not mistaken, let's take a look at the constraints on the stack view. And we're going to do that by clicking on the stack view and coming over to here. Okay, so the bottom space to the super view which is the text's overlay, is some certain amount. Okay, so actually this is not working the way that I thought it was. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of that label that I added. And I am going to go back to this thing here. So it's aligning the center X, but the bottom space to the super view currently is 71. Let's make this like something that makes sense. Now, I have so many windows. That might actually look closer. Let's go look. computer gets so hot when I do streaming and iOS development at the same time. I need a fan. Okay, so this looks better. I think we actually need to make the image view less tall also. So we have this, and it's got all these horizontal and vertical constraints. And we're going to make the height greater than or equal to 240 instead of 280. And I know that that height requirement is like that. We made it greater than or equal in order to allow it to adjust nicely to, like, say this thing is in landscape and that needs to stretch all the way across the screen. It's gonna, it could potentially look, it could like cut off part of the image, or if we don't allow it to be a certain height. The other option is to just stretch the image to fit the dimensions, but that looks very weird. I don't like to stretch images. Okay, this is looking closer. And I still think the stack view needs to come down, and the feature phrase, this, needs to be this needs to be, it needs its constraints adjusted also. Because the leading space is too much, it needs to be like 20. I should note, usually you can get actual point values in inVision. I can sort of look at it and tell usually what the point values are supposed to be within a couple tries, but what is it, top space? Remember that in this part of like making the app, we're just trying to get it to look like roughly the way that the designs look, and then we're going to go in and fine tune it in a later pass. I mean, that's better. I still think this stack view needs to move down more. So instead of 40, we're going to make this 20. I like that game. Better. So one thing I'm running into is that this label looks like the font size is too big relative to that. But I am not sure if it just looks that way because it's shorter, and therefore it looks like it's a shorter word, and so it looks taller. So I'm gonna change the label text to whatever that says. I don't speak Scottish Gaelic, so I'm not gonna try to pronounce that. Okay, but suppose it were that long. Yeah, it's too big. Okay, let's change the font. While we're here, just make this more cute. Alright, so we're going to go to the attributes inspector on our label. And we're going to make the font size. Probably needs to be about 2/3 what it is right now, right? So that means we need to bring it down by 14 points. 42 minus 14 is 32, minus 4 is 28. Okay, and then we can look at the, we could, okay, there we go. That looks better to me. Yeah. Let's take a look again. Better. I think the dimmer needs to dim the back image more. And I realized that part of the reason for that is that the image that I have is not the same as the image in the thing. And I have been trying to get the image out of here. And it's like, let's try it again, actually. Can I get this? I would really like to be able to pull this image. I don't want to download the whole screen. I just want to download that. Okay, so settings, code. Dear inVision, how do I download this image? Okay, well, in the meantime, I'm going to use the image I've got. Put that back in preview. And we're going to make this darkening mask darker. So the way we do that is we come in here and we set the alpha higher. Let's try that. Better. I still think it needs to be darker. Did I run it again? No, I think I just spaced out. Okay, well now it's legible. When we get the right image, I might actually pull that darkening mask back up. But now my main thing is like I want to make sure that this is visible. And on this particular image, it falls like directly on the horizon, so that's making things a little tougher. But I think it looks okay. I think the featured phrase is like bold and isn't supposed to be. So let's go change that. Oh, it's semi-bold. We don't want it to be semi. No, 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 don't do that. Let's click on this little text icon. We're not going to make it semi-bold. We want it to be. I think we might even just want it to be yellow. So you can already see how in the previous stream we started with like really big things. These kind of details were not stuff we were focusing on at all. Oh, that looks nicer. Or closer, I should say. And yeah. So we're focusing on these smaller things, whereas previously we just went through all the screens and we're like, put something on the screen. It makes it, why is it doing this? Why is it doing this? Look at this. In Browse, the search bar is back to the problematic. All right, now we're going to switch and do that. We've got our search bar. We've got our constraints. All right, search bar dot trailing. Is safe area dot trailing plus 32. You would think that would work. Is the sign off? Is that my problem? This is what we're going to do. We're going to reset the search bar as trailing constraint. Goodbye. All right, so now we're going to come down here. We have to make our window bigger in order to be able to get the thing. We'll do this. We want this to be 32. Add. Great. Well, why is it not to the safe area anymore? We have to update it. Boop, boop. Come into our size inspector, trailing space. Okay, so I want it to be to the safe area. I'm going to have to manually make it, which is terrifying. Okay. Safe area dot trailing. Don't move. Okay, let's see if it works. This is literally the exact same thing it said before. I'm livid. Alright, so the other thing is that that bar isn't quite so like in on the sides. So let's change the numbers a little. Go to my search bar, let's make it 20. 20. And then the bottom is going to be, I think they're like kind of right on top of each other. And then first and second. So if we take our tab thing, I want these to be the same. That's the other thing. I think, right? No, it's a little bit in, actually. All right, well, let's see how it looks. Oop, oop, oop. Let's change these back to 32. It looks odd. Odd. Run. Okay. These lines on the search bar, I think I ultimately want to get rid of. But that's okay. And then what's in the... How many of these are there? So this is going to be a grid view. Cool. We'll come back to that. This part, I think, is just only phrases and clans. Ultimately, we might want to make a custom view that does these thingies. All right, let's go back to home here. We're going to add a label. A label. There. We will give it a starting font size of 32, but I think we're actually going to bring that down. Yeah, we're going to bring that down. We're going to make the color the gray. Probably not that gray, probably a darker gray than that. Oh. No. I don't know. Oh, maybe it is like a darker or like a lighter. Okay, we're going to call it on that. Browse. Then we're going to add 2 views. Let's make this an image here. And the image will be, we need to add some images. So here's what we're going to do. These ultimately we want to get rid of. We're going to add one, and in order to, we're going to say new image set, and then we have to go get them, and I believe that I have images here. Yeah, so the one that I want like these ones. I don't know what they mean. So I don't know if it's significant which one you use where, so we're just going to follow the thing exactly. Okay, so the first one, it uses this one basically, and the second one appears to use, pardon, that one. So we're going to use, we're going to do. And we're going to name it, I'm going to name it Monkey Fist because it looks like a monkey fist, not to me. But we can change this if it has an actual name. Yeah. All right, so now we go to our main.storyboard, and we're going to put in our monkey fist. And let's give it I wonder, can I give it, yeah, so we can make the image like a little more transparent, and then we can give it that reddish color. What is cayenne? It's not appear to want to. Does any color work? There we go. That's not actually the one I want. I want this one. So I think actually I don't want to give this thing a background by itself. I think I want it to be a view that's like, I want the image on a view of its own. View, image view, collection view. It's not just a normal view. Okay. So we're going to make the height of the actual image just a little bit less than the view. So we're going to say top space and then bottom space. And we'll take a look at what those are and edit them. Bottom space to the super view is going to be like 4. Top space is going to be 4. And then we want this to be aspect fit. So we want the whole thing to show. Yeah, it is aspect fit. Beautiful. And then the view, we want the background to be like a dark red. And I'm going to have I don't think these are two the right thing. Let's look. If we make it bigger, what happens? Can I see the difference better? Let's look. Edit. I should make it 10 so I can see. What is the problem? Oh, you need constraints for your X position and your Y position. That actually makes sense. So we need to center it in there. And this 10 thing, all right, we're getting rid of this. And then we're going to say, on the monkey fist, just like center it. And then we're going to set the height. Not to this. Here, let's do it this way. Go to monkey fist. And then say equal heights from, what the hell? Nope. Oh. Why is it doing that? Let's click on our monkey fist and then say equal height to. And then will that work? What? I have a feeling there's some like string manipulation going on under the hood, and when collection view item was named just view, that was getting interpreted as the super somehow. No. I don't know why the height is like this. Let's see. The collection view item needs constraints for the X and the Y position. But that wouldn't be why this is all messed up, would it? And let's do that's not what I want. Get rid of that. Let's try. Yeah, that's fine. And then the bottom space, which is going to currently be, yeah. And then let me set the height on the collection view item. Let's make it 120. There we go. Cool. So then rounding the corners, the way that you do this is like so. So you go to your attributes inspector. You say, we're on the image view. I want to be on the collection view. It's like one of these plus buttons. That one's for varying for traits. And we don't want to introduce variation. What I want I think I need a reminder. Let's do rounded corners storyboard. Also, does it look? I think it needs to be more transparent, the image. Okay. So we go to the identity inspector, and then we do key path layer.masks to bounds. Layer masks to bounds. That is going to be a boolean. And layer.corner radius. This is a number. Number. And we'll make it that to see how it look. What happened? Maybe it won't show up in the actual. That'd be very sad though. Let's see if it shows up. The next thing that we're going to do is make that image have more transparency. Doesn't show up at all. Sweet. There must be a missing constraint. It needs constraints on its X position. Okay. Collection view item. It has a constraint on its X position. What are you trying to add? Really? Oh, you want a width. That's what you want. Alright, where's the trailing? What is this? No. I'm going to give it a width. The collection view item is getting a width. There. Show. Okay, well 20 is too much, but it looks like that's what we want it to do, just not that much. I'm going to go back to 8, and then I'm going to adjust the height on my actual image view. Let's do this. And then aspect fit should take care of it. Ooh, it's mad. Remove that one. That one and that one. Now the collection view item needs its height constraint. Back because I deleted it frivolously. That should show up there. Good. Okay, so the other thing is we need to fix this to not be 20. Let's put it back at 8. I think 8 was right. And then the image view needs a higher alpha. Let's try 0.7. Part of it is that the image is black, and so it's really dark, so it needs a high alpha to appear backgroundy. How close is that? It needs to be even more. Yeah, let's try that. I feel like it's not getting less dark. Like, I feel like that's black. The image, the alpha. What happens if I do that? Oh, I'm making the alpha higher. Duh, Chelsea. Hello. I need it to be lower. Hello, Earth to Chelsea. I don't think that took somehow. Does it go completely transparent if I do this? It does, so I make it 0.1. There, did it just not update earlier? What happened? That looks better. Okay. And now if I make the height of this 60 seconds. Nothing. Nothing. I'm getting rid of this constraint. It's not helping me. What if I completely reset it? Then it works. The hay. That doesn't work. Delete. I'm very upset now. Okay. It's not perfect yet, but we're getting there. Okay. Now we're going to take this label right here, copy it, and move it into our collection view item. It's going to be called first of all, it's going to be in front of the image. And it's going to say freezes. And the text is going to be freezes. And we are going to center it horizontally in this container. We're also going to center it vertically. It's mad now. It needs to update. So that's... And then the color on the view is not the right one. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to copy this, paste it here. This one's going to say plans. The image is going to be the other thing. Let's go add an image. I don't know what to call this. Let's see. Looks like it's got hooks on it. So I will come up. I will get better names for this stuff later. Dang it. There we go. Back to our main storyboard. This image is going to be not with hooks. This item is going to have teal. Then what we're going to do is we're going to come up to this constraints. We're going to take where it says collection view item top and leading. We're going to get rid of these. Everybody relax. Then we're going to embed these in a stack view. We are gonna constrain the stack view to the browse. Vertical spacing, and then we're going to center it horizontally in the container. Then we're going to make the spacing 25. How spaced are these? This screen must be narrower than my screen. Okay, so forget about the spacing. What we're going to do is we're going to line up the leading edges here. Yeah, and then we have to figure out what to remove. What is this one? So we want browse.leading and stackView.leading to be the same. That's right. We want the stack view to be centered horizontally. That's all right. We want these widths to be 160. Collection view item.leading. How come I can't select this? Oh yeah, the spacing being set to 25 is a problem. Like all these need to go. So let's take a look at the stack view again. No spacing, no specified spacing. And then let's do stack view to the safe. Oh, no, 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 no. To the safe area is whatever browse. Browse.leading is safe area.leading plus 20. So let's make it 20. And then we have to go change it. That's 66. I see. It's confused about the spacing. Let's remove the centering. In fact, let's get rid of all the stack view constraints here for a second. Alright, what's your problem? You need a constraint on your Y position. Alright, well, give me a second. Let's say vertical spacing. And then let's say, oh, no, 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 no. Stack view. And the leading is... And then I want them to separate. Oh, I see. It has to figure out what to make wider, like if a screen is wider. Alright, let's just start over with this. And that in. Except it needs to be horizontal. All right, we'll give that vertical spacing, and we'll give that leading equality. And then on these two things, what happens if I pull the width constraint? Don't worry, I have a plan. Pull the width constraint. And then shut both of these. And then say, I want them to always have equal widths. And then on the stack view, we're going to set that trailing space to the safe area to be 20. Align trailing to the safe area equals 20. I'm being big in this, and just click on the stack view and get this moved. Crying out loud. Let's try this. Set it to the width minus 40. See how that works. Okay. Let's get rid of that constraint. Get rid of that constraint. And then let's click on the stack view. And say, let's do this again. Embed them in a stack view. Why are they so wide now? Let me just back out of this real quick. Alright, so here's where we are. We've got our horizontal stack view. And as the view expands and collapses, we have to figure out what we want this stack view to do. So suppose that our view gets really wide. How do we want it to react? Do we want these views to get wider? Because if we click on the stack view, we go to the attributes inspector, currently the spacing is 0. If we make it 20, those get further apart. And if we were to run it, it would look like it were to the left. It wouldn't look centered. I feel like the label on at least the first one is not in the right place. Like this needs to be. There we go. And this one is called clans, not phrases. We may come back to this because I have to hop off in a few minutes. So let's move on to the next thing. Blog posts. All right. Name it blog posts. And let's put that vertically spaced. And leading edge. By the way, this view needs to be embedded in the scroll view. Which we might have to figure out next time. All right, blog posts, and then there's going to be a table view. There. We're going to give it a prototype cell. And in that prototype cell, it's going to be an image, and then it's going to be a label. So let's make the row height 120. And then let's make the let's give it an image view. It's going to be like that. And then we will attach it at the top and at the leading edge. And then we'll give it a fixed width and height. And then we'll put a label over on the other side. Make it big. And attach it via horizontal spacing and then center it vertically. And then set its width and height. Set its trailing space. Whoops. Label to the table view cell. Trailing space, let's say. And then we gave it constraints for its x position and its width. Alright. We will come back to this next time. Let's see what it looks like right now. I think it's going to have some issues. The image view, it says, needs constraints for its X position. Yeah, so we still need to figure out our custom cells, which is fine. But next time we'll put this whole thing in a scroll view. We'll figure out how to get these to look good, and then we will get our custom cells working. We won't need this label at the top, or maybe we make it this. So that it matches the one above. Whoa. Get rid of that. Pull this up. Give it vertical spacing to that. And then it's trailing. And it's leading. And then height. We may have to come back to height. One last thing I do want to do before we go is put all this in a view. Which we can then, ooh. So here's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to go ahead and commit this in case this doesn't work. Several terminal windows. Add views to home screen. Great. So now we're committed up. Now if we move all of this inside this view, yeah. Wow, what a mess. Alright, never mind, backing out of that. We will pick this up next time. Let's quickly revise our commit to remove that view. I'll add a remote later as well. We're getting to where I want to push this up. Alright, but I think we did make some decent progress today in our hour together. See you next time.